Good evening.
Oh, look who appears. Oh my goodness. Hi, Sean.
Jeremy, what have you done?
Are you naked?
The hell did you do to yourself?
I I feel
Oh,
I feel
I,
maybe
Oh my god.
he already told us what he was doing.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he
I
did it
know,
for the
but
last
still,
month.
Announced this a week ago.
yeah, I know, but still, I guess I wasn't real. For some reason, I was not expecting it.
Oh
Oh
my
my god.
goodness. I thought you were shocked that you were on right now because you
No,
weren't on a minute
no,
ago.
I was not. It was Jeremy's appearance.
That's why I was like, are you naked? Like, what's going on?
Look what Joanne just
Hi,
said.
Rich. What's
OMG, you're
going on?
naked.
Yeah, we haven't taken this show to that level.
Nor will we ever.
Yeah.
No.
That happens on another network.
Yeah, and that's something I would not be a part of to begin with.
You would if you didn't know about it before it happened.
Joanne's like, great minds thinks a lot.
This is
I
actually
like
why
it.
I didn't appear on Fear Fans like I said I was going to. I wasn't expecting Don to do the others this week. I'm like, oh great, now I can't be on for that show.
Yeah, I know. Would have shocked the hell out of us either way. Would have think more than me.
Yeah, there's always that shock factor, no matter when I was going to be.
Joanne is asking you, Jeremy, how was the tournament? What did you do to Eileen?
The tournament was okay. I didn't do as well as I would have liked, but I didn't do anywhere near as bad as what I did last year. So that's a plus.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit because last year wasn't that your first year back?
No, my first
No,
year
you
back
was there last year.
in 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Irene.
Remember, I did the tournament last year,
I remember that.
but my wrist was hurting. I strained my ligament coming out of
Yeah,
my thumb. That's why I didn't bowl with you and Zach and the kids.
yeah.
Um, I needed to take several months of not doing anything with this.
That's where I'm at with mine. I turn a jar and it's like, oh crap. And but it I don't remember what they call it, but it's like right here. It's not carpal tunnel. It's the on top of that wrist bone.
It was right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep. Yep. And one like you move it in the middle of the night and you damn well know you did it. And it's like, oh no, this is and I was looking it up. They're talking surgery. I'm like, the hell with you. I know surgery makes things worse.
Yep.
Well, I was afraid that it was carpal tunnel. Um, Glad that it wasn't, but I
Yeah, they
know
call it something else.
it just. My doctor said I just strained my ligament, and he asked me what I did that I hadn't been doing. And well, I just started practicing bowling a month before the tournament. That's what you did. So he said just give give it like 3 months, and sure enough,
What
after
the
three
heck?
months, I couldn't even tell that my wrist was.
Thank you, sweetheart.
So I gotta ask, like what Joanne had asked.
Oh,
So what did you do to Eileen while you were down in Mississippi?
What she did to me.
What
marinara.
she?
This
Oh,
is
you know
like
what am I saying? Yeah, I correct myself. What did she do to you?
Yeah, it's what she did to me. So first of all, um, we got all of these things.
oh man.
What are those?
The-
Oh, they're the pamphlets.
yeah. So one was for the old courthouse museum.
Oh,
One
nice.
is for the Coca Cola. Here's
Of course, Coca-Cola.
yeah. Um, then here's this one. I think this is for New Orleans.
Oh, haunted history. Okay.
Um, this one here is actually very interesting. The Clear Creek Bridge tragedy that happened back in 1939.
I think
Yeah,
I've heard of that. I think I've heard of that. Just
1939.
yeah, I think I've heard of that one, but haven't gotten very many details on it.
It's we we actually have a story about that with Eileen's GPS. Um, but before doing that, she took me to the Vicksburg Civil War battlefield,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, and the brochure for that said that it would take an hour, maybe two at the most, to go through it. It is a 15-mile battlefield where you drive around, and there are spots out there where you can stop, get out, take a look. Monuments, they have state monuments there, memorials.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were in there for 3.5 hours because we were stopping everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
Uh,
Especially 15 miles of that. Yeah.
yeah, there were people walking it.
Well, yeah, that too.
There were people walking it, and there was there was a house in the middle of the whole thing called the Shirley House,
I've heard
uh,
of that house, the Shirley House. Yep.
and right next to it is one of the state memorials. I forget which state it was. I want to say Missouri, but I don't know. But it was sort of like a from the outside, it looked almost like a planetarium because it's a circular building with a dome on it, but at the very top of the dome, it's open.
That might have been because I know there's there is one just I don't know if it could be the same one. They did have one for the state of Illinois. It might have been the Illinois monument.
I don't.
Illinois, like you said, either Illinois or Missouri.
Yeah, we got a little tired of Illinois.
I was going to say if it was the
Well,
if it was
reason being
the
is
Illinois
because
monument, I can't even imagine how many times Eileen was saying the state name the wrong way.
well, it's not just that. Yes, it is an Illinois memorial.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
because you know what's
not just that, but every so often we'll see like little headstones that's got states on it and other things that's got states on it. We saw more Illinois than anything else.
my God. Well, it does make sense because I know the state of Illinois really kind of played a role, especially in that part of Vicksburg during the Civil War. And in fact, I'm sure you've seen it, but even if you go inside this particular building, even the ground, like it has the design on the ground of it, and it actually has the image of the state flag of the state of Illinois on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's and you know what's even more ironic? I have not even told you this, Jeremy. I should have even told Eileen this. That mausoleum, no, not mausoleum. Yeah, I actually created a file for that particular location, and I might even have a slideshow created for that. I just haven't done it on Nick Files yet.
It was actually really very interesting. But what was crazy about the Illinois Memorial is I still got the video. Is that
Memorial. I keep saying mausoleum. I meant to say memorial.
it carries an echo.
Oh, I'm sure it does, seeing how hollow it is inside.
Yeah.
Yes. Where okay, I got it.
I like what Kate is saying. Where's Jeremy? Who is that? Well, it is Jeremy, Kate, but
This is Jeremy's alter ego.
yeah, Jeremy York is just
So
not.
okay,
Jeremy York is not in the building right now.
So I got this is the inside, but listen to me woo. Um, it's coming.
No, you didn't, Tom. You didn't hear corn.
This big building
Yeah, wait.
with a nice echo.
Wow.
See how that carries?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it really does.
So, for those that don't know, what is the Illinois Memorial?
It's just like it seems like it's got the names of everybody from Illinois that was in the
War.
battlefield,
Okay.
and that's what all the different states were, and the Indiana Memorial had that. The only state that did not have names listed was Mississippi, and Eileen was pissed off.
Oh, I bet.
And here's the thing.
Because she has family that was in the Civil War.
Right.
She wanted to see if their names were written in bronze, just like everywhere else. And that was the only one that did not have names on it. And
Which is
it made no
ironic. Now,
sense.
with part of the history, because the Illinois and the other memorials that were created, those obviously are historic structures themselves. And there's even a Wikipedia page about the Illinois Memorial, and that was dedicated back in 1906. Obviously at a time when many of the Civil War survivors from both sides were still alive. And in this case, it honors the Union Army soldiers from the state of Illinois who fought in the siege of Vicksburg during the Vicksburg campaign of the American Civil War. And you know what's funny, Jeremy, is I just looked this up. It does have a nickname. It is known to the locals as Echo Hall or the Holler House.
It echoes. I have been to places where an echo carries, but I have never had one like that before.
Joanne says you could have did an a cappella.
I lived there for a long time, but did not know about it. The little area in Tulsa that you can stand in this one spot and scream all you want to, and the people standing outside that spot are not going to hear you. I don't care if they're 3 inches away from you. So when we go visit my son, we're going to go do that.
Sean, to answer your question, we were talking about the Illinois Memorial. That was him. That was inside the building. It really echoes. He was not paying attention. That's why.
I'll get back to that video.
Oh, and also, Jeremy, I got to read this from Kate. When I said that, you said this was your alter ego. He's like, no, that's Jeremy's hard arse brother that's done 19 years in prison. Don't want to mess with him.
Yeah, I've got the scars to prove it.
What's that?
I've got the scars to prove it.
Yeah, he's been in some bad fights, Kate.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. That just carries.
It does.
It does. Well, another place that had something just like this was, believe it or not, the TNT bunkers out in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, like where the Mothman was seen, which they always believed that was where the Mothman was hiding back in the day. And I remember walking into one of those bunkers, and literally, not only does your voice echo throughout these dome-shaped structures, but more importantly, like literally, your voice bounces back so frequently that you could actually feel the vibrations from it. It's like, for example, the way I'm talking right now, I'm talking just normal sounding. If I was talking in one of those bunkers right now, it would literally bounce on it would literally echo throughout the walls and bounce back right towards you. Like you cannot even, in other words, you wouldn't be able to understand half of the things you were saying if you were inside one of those bunkers. That's how big the echo of it really goes.
It was Yeah, it was really, really something else, and that wasn't even the highlight of the battlefield.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there was a lot more to come.
Yeah, the big highlight for me was the USS Cairo Museum.
Oh,
Mm.
yes.
And for those who may not know about the USS Cairo, is it was a battleship that was commissioned in 1863.
It was either in 1962 or 63.
Yeah, it was commissioned in January, and it sank in December. And it sank down to the bottom of the river. No loss of life.
Mm.
That's still surprising
Yeah,
because usually a lot of those ships um,
Mhm.
usually a lot of those ships, there's usually at least a few people who passed away from them.
yeah. This one here had no loss of life, and then it was rediscovered in 1956, and then they raised it in 1960.
64. I just looked it up. You said 1963, or we got it
18
18. Yeah, it was 1862.
too.
December 12th of 1862.
So it was raised in 1964,
4.
and partially reassembled.
Well, you know what's I just did some research. You know what's funny about the name of the USS Cairo is that that also has a connection to the state of Illinois, which they named it after the town of Cairo, Illinois, which is ironic because Cairo is the southernmost town in the state of Illinois. Like it literally borders right up to where the Missouri and Kentucky borders are.
Yep.
And it's also the one town and probably the only town in the entire country in which it's surrounded by levees, and it's also right where the Mississippi and Ohio River meets.
So they they reassembled this ship, and this is a pretty good sized ship. Um, they reassembled it mostly with the original wood, which is very surprising. But they did use replacement wood to make it safe, structurally, and for you to be able to walk through the ship. You can actually walk into the ship and see all the inner workings. They straightened out all of the wheels that they used, like like steamboats. How
Yeah.
they would go so they could go through the river. That was the same mechanism they used on this ship, and they straightened out all of that. It looks really really good.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And it is underneath a very large white tarp, um, so that it's protected from the elements.
Hmm.
It it was just an amazing thing, and Eileen was worried that I was not going to like this trip, and I told her anything that has to do with American. I may not be a war guy, but I am an American history guy,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
we cannot have American history without the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the same thing for me with all my research that I do. I would love it.
Yeah, we were talking an awful lot about you.
Oh, I'm sure you guys were. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, most of it was put downs, natural. Because seeing all of the stones with Illinois on it, so naturally we had to make fun of it.
I
Um,
can't even imagine if I was with you, Jeremy. I can't even imagine how many times that you guys would have said the wrong pronunciation. That would have been probably like 1,000 times towards me.
oh, at least. Um, and we know that you would want to stop at every single one of these
Oh,
things.
I
Yeah,
would, you know me. Yeah, I'd want to stop at every single one because
you
I would
would.
want to get pictures. I'd want to get information, so I could, add this to a slideshow. I mean, I'd basically want to see the whole package.
Oh, there's a lot to this, and for you, it would not be worth driving a car. You'd be walking through this thing.
Yeah. And yeah, Tom makes a good point. Cairo, Illinois, unfortunately, as historic of a town as it is almost an abandoned town. A lot of the town is kind of really falling apart. It's just not what it used to be, sadly.
Hmm.
It's not to basically make this up. Surprisingly, despite being the southernmost town of the state, it's actually the majority demographic there is mostly African American. You know, despite being in a relatively rural area, and I thought that was quite kind of fascinating. You know, but yeah, unfortunately, a lot of Cairo's really fallen apart over the years. A lot of the historic buildings they have there have been closed down for years. Um,
Yeah, it's got a very low population, only 1,700 people.
yeah, 1,700 people. Like I said, majority of whom are African Americans, and it's just unfortunate. It's sad to see such a historic town like Cairo fall apart.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of these days that can change.
Our state governor has gone down to J.B. Pritzker has gone down to Cairo in the hopes of trying to reestablish like economy down in Cairo, and there's even residents who still live there to this day have still. There was a documentary um, that was recently made a few years ago in which they interviewed different residents of Cairo, and a lot of the residents still do have hopes that Cairo will bounce back again. They actually see themselves at times kind of like basically Southern Illinois, Chicago. Even though Murfreesboro is kind of like that too, they really see themselves as trying to basically kind of fit into, kind of do what Chicago does up here.
The thing is, Cairo, I would think would be a desirable place because you got a river on both sides of you.
Yeah, like I said, it's where the Mississippi and Ohio rivers meets, and
Yeah.
it's literally surrounded by those surrounding the town. There's a picture where you have the Ohio River in the foreground and the Mississippi River in the background.
If they had the revenue to, make some kind of a, I don't know, they'd have to have a niche, but it wouldn't be too hard, having both rivers meet there to do some kind of a landmark, whether it's a hotel or something cool where
I'm
they
really
could get
surprised.
travelers.
I'm really surprised they haven't done that. And yes, Tom makes a good point. They have great soul food there.
This
Um,
would have been a great place for them to have a fort.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I do know recently Cairo did recently open up a grocery store, like a brand new one. So it is, in this case, helping the food economy over
Yeah.
there. But there's still so much that needs to be done. And obviously, a lot, not surprising, a lot of these people who live throughout Cairo always have to, drive to either Missouri or Kentucky, either for work or obviously to get whatever they need for their homes and whatnot. But they're still trying their best to save Cairo because again, it was a very important, it was a very historic town, and it played a good role in part of Southern Illinois' history. And once again, they named Cairo after the capital of Egypt, which again, Southern Illinois is often referred to as Little Egypt.
There's
Okay,
a
so
place down here called Fort Defiance State Park, which is on the very tip of where Cairo's at.
What were you going to say, Adrian?
what is the significance of Cairo?
So Cairo, from what I know, is again, I'm still kind of going through a lot more of the information about it. Like I said, I know it was one of those towns where, again, considering at the time this was a location that, especially by the early 1900s, and this is the reason why to this day it's still a majority African American population, is this was one of the towns where a lot of African Americans did move to, during the Great Migration period. Yeah, a lot more of them did move over here to Chicago for better opportunities, but Cairo did have you know, did have its offers for them for a better lifestyle. But unfortunately, though, because just like a lot of these other towns, the vast majority was white before then. Then
Yeah.
you still did have your racial problems there. In fact, the most notorious incident that occurred there happened in 1909, where this is the typical story we hear, unfortunately, from these, where you had a black man who was executed and hung over the suspicion of a murder of a white girl, which there was no evidence to prove that he actually did it. But that's not all. They ended up lynching a second person, but this time the second man they lynched was white. So this was kind of both an interracial mix of violence, and there's actually a photograph, if not a few photographs, of the actual lynching event itself that you could find on Wikipedia. And it's such an unsettling image when you look at this picture, because like when you first look at it, first of all, it's hard to believe that it takes place in 1909 because there's all these street lights. It almost gives the resemblance that it almost looks more like a rock concert, literally. But at the same time, when you look at this picture, this was taken pretty much when one of those lynchings were in progress, and that erupt. And also, Cairo also played a role to as much as the rest of the country did during the summer of 1967, when there were all those riots that were going on during that. So there was a lot of racial problems that went on, but there was a lot more that went on throughout Cairo, throughout its
Well, that's interesting that we bring something like that up, just because I was on a Facebook page the other day, and it was for
Yes, what Tom said. It also has a strategic Civil War location at the confluence of the Ohio Mississippi River, being a base and stop on the underground. Yeah, and also being a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
So,
Another thing that Cairo has against it is that when the Mississippi River floods, it's screwed.
hey,
Because
Joe.
when it floods,
Right.
Ohio
Ohio
River floods.
Yeah, and Cairo.
Going to get them on both sides. So
Okay.
Yeah, so Cairo has also had a history of numerous floods. Again, being the only town where the Ohio and Mississippi rivers meets, it's the only town where basically both rivers flood together in this case.
Okay.
In other words, it's pretty much the one time where both of the rivers truly come together and form like literally one river when it floods.
That makes sense as to why they won't build anything, that's going to be like that. Okay.
Where Cairo is, it's still kind of a little bit below sea level, so therefore it makes it much more susceptible to floods. Yeah. Like I said, they have built levees, but the levees don't always help, unfortunately.
No. But we're talking about lynchings and the different things that it's history is repeating itself.
It is. It really is.
And it's not happening toward just African Americans now, which I was on a page on Facebook that was, it was a witchcraft page. But what I didn't realize, it was, and I was accepted in the group with my profile picture, and I'm as white as you can get, but it was for black witches. And all of a sudden, I've been on there for a year, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing these posts about how, when when they decided segregation was a choice now. Any company can segregate if they want to. That come out from Trump not long ago.
Yep.
So, okay, these people got on there, and this goes to show, I saw the other side. Instead of being scared, or instead of being, oppressed like they were in the past, that is not what's happening at all. They are welcoming the segregation.
Jeez.
And I saw, people post saying, at least we know where we would be welcome at this point. And at least maybe we can do our own businesses without anybody interfering. And you got to see the raw reality of their fears.
I can imagine. Well, and this, it just, like I said, that just made me think of what I was just talking about, like these lynchings that occurred in Cairo back in 1909. It wasn't just necessarily, in this case, a black person. A white person was also hung at the same time. So it's almost like when you look at
Mhm.
what you're talking about with what's happening now, and you look in this case of what happened in Cairo back in 1909, it just went to show that for some areas didn't matter, or they didn't care whether you were black or white. You were gonna suffer
Right.
the same fate.
That's just hatred.
It
That's
was
just
just
hatred.
pure hate.
And having
They really only lynched this other guy because the crowd, this mob, they were just still bloodthirsty.
right.
They wanted to kill another, and again, didn't care if the person was black or white. They just wanted to kill somebody.
And when we allow it, and that back then it was allowed. Instead, the what's going to make or break this is how we think.
Yeah,
And right now, how we're thinking is not okay. And it doesn't matter if it's coming from the leader. It doesn't matter if it's coming where it's coming from, but it's becoming accepted.
yeah. That's
We
the
had
unfortunate part.
was it yesterday? We had a college student abducted from the street in broad daylight on her phone. She was just on her phone, and hooded figures come out, nabbed her, gone. They still don't know, as of this morning, they did not know her whereabouts. Her lawyer does not know her whereabouts. And what's happening to her? They abducted a man. They tried to deport him on tattoos.
The tattoos.
Yeah, they're watching tattoos because some of them are gang tattoos, and they're trying to get the Venezuelan gangs gone.
Oh, really? Okay.
So now they're focusing on tattoos. This man's tattoo was the rainbow for autism awareness,
Oh my God.
and they took him for that. Where are we drawing the line? You know, it's becoming accepted to do what we want. Our laws are no longer valid.
I know.
There was I can't think of her first name because I call her whore. But anyway, Bobart. There was an interview she was doing, and you know the press is talking to her, asking questions, and they played this small clip. She was being asked a question. She goes, "Where are you from?" And the reporter said, "From the UK." She said, "I don't answer questions from other countries. This is none of your business. Get the hell out."
Oh,
So one of our reporters stood up and said, he said, "I'm American. You going to answer my question?" She said, "Yes." He said, "My question is hers. Answer her question." And she did not. But it is, if our leaders are making this acceptable behavior, the rest of us are going to fall into it. Some of us will not, but the rest of society is going to fall into it because you are what you are,
excuse me.
and you are what you see. It becomes accepted.
It's really unfortunate. It really is.
So how far are we from the lynchings and
Yeah.
the
Well,
mobbings?
in the case, as you guys would expect, like the aftermath of this lynching that occurred back in 1909, as typical from so many of them from the late 1800s and early part of the 20th century, no one was ever charged with any of the lynchings. So all these people basically got away. And here's the thing: typical of these lynchings, the first guy they wanted to lynch, they actually, I think, did try. I think the Cairo Police Department did actually try to evacuate him onto a nearby train and either take him out to either nearby Kentucky or Missouri. But unfortunately, the mob caught up with them. They stopped the train. And they brought him back to Cairo and hung him literally right in the center of downtown. That would just, I'm really surprised that I can only imagine what the activity would be like there, because it's right in the street, and that street which was in the heart of Cairo, is still in existence today. But yeah, like I said, no one was ever arrested or charged for what they did.
And how far are we from that right now?
Yeah, really. Well,
Not
we
far.
all let's not
We're
forget.
basically there.
Well, let's not forget when the Capitol riot occurred. They all wanted to hang Mike Pence. They had a noose ready for him.
But, you know, we're accepting this. We as citizens
I know.
are standing by and accepting this. Have you noticed for the last maybe 10 years, and it's really ramped up in the last 6, where local police departments, you know, they used to be different colors. They were black and white a long time ago. Then
Yeah.
they went to their different colors. Now they're black and white again, prepared for martial law. That's why they're doing that.
Hmm.
And it's, you know, the more they act up, it's going to happen. The good citizens are going to rise up and go, this is not what we built America on. What is going on?
Yeah, this is not what America is supposed to even be about.
Uh-uh. It's not even our country.
It's not. Well, and you know what? And I probably have talked about this before, kind of ironically enough, is that my social group of friends has become a lot more of an interracial group now. You know, like me and Don,
Absolutely.
me and Don, we've literally become the only white members of our group. Our other friends we have 2 friends who, one of which lives in Wisconsin, but he comes down to Chicago a lot. 2 of which are Native Americans, and we do have 1 Hispanic, and we just pretty much welcome in a new friend who's Asian. So, you know, it's like I'm so racially integrated, and honestly, I'm proud of it. You know, for that, I'm thinking to myself,
Absolutely.
why can't? In fact, when we had this new person over, we even were talking about that at one point, and she even told me, you know, thanking me for, you know, accepting her, you know, for who she is, and I said, this is the way how things should be. I'm not gonna keep anybody out.
That is awful that she felt the need to thank you. That shows what she has been through.
Yeah,
Because
and also she's got
you're
a.
human.
And I almost forgot her boyfriend again, who's also they're an interracial couple, who's I'm probably going to be seeing I think this Saturday. He's Turkish, so again, you have a lot of this racial mixing involved in my group, and I'm totally fine with that. It doesn't Don and I we don't mind that we're the only white guys in our group. It doesn't.
When did we start seeing? Going back through history, I'm not sure.
What's up,
Maybe
Sydney?
near Jesus' time, but when did we start seeing color? Like why?
Yeah,
If I were to go out in the sun and tan, I promise you, I would fit in Mexico.
yeah,
I have done it, but why does that matter to somebody? I understand why culture might matter because of different beliefs. But if you open your mind, those beliefs are not that different from ours.
definitely.
If you look at Louisiana, Jeremy was just there. Let's look at Louisiana. If one of them were to come here to Colorado with the voodoo, hoodoo, that is very well known there and very respected there.
Yes,
People here would be afraid of them.
I know.
So why can't we open our minds a little bit and start talking to people and listening, you know, other people giving their knowledge. It's really not that different.
Right. Yeah.
Whether you're Christian, voodoo, hoodoo, pagan,
Here's
it's not that
what I found online. The first humans were almost certainly black.
Yeah,
The species evolved in East Africa about 200,000 years ago. black skin was necessary for survival in the hot and sunny climate.
We didn't freeze
Yeah,
Anthony.
we
What's
didn't
going
freeze Anthony. Well, and that's the other, and that was another. You made up a good
Wasn't-
point, Jeremy. Is that when you look back at human evolution, it all began in Africa. Originally, it was believed. At first, it was originally believed that it developed in Asia, but now we've recently discovered that it actually started back in Africa.
on? We adapt to wherever we're at.
Yeah,
So what I'm assuming, contrary to popular belief, the Africans were out in the sun, and that dark skin is thicker than ours.
yep. Pickle
Yes.
Tom's in the chat. She's like, Jeremy, I don't want to alarm you, but I think that someone is pulling your hair.
Well,
Love that.
I can tell you with absolute certainty that the last known whereabouts of my hair is somewhere in Ohio. That was where I had to mail it off. I got home on Saturday and I was at the post office on Monday and mailed it out.
But, in all reality, where did this crap come from? Why did we start? I understand the different languages made different cultures. I get it. But why did we get so close-minded?
I know.
And our belief is the only belief there is.
Oh,
When did that happen?
that started at the dawn of time.
I was like, wait, are you saying that your hair ran away from you?
Yeah,
It had help.
there's
I
a
was
story behind this, by the way.
going to say to Tom, well, since you put it that way, it did pretty much run away.
Yeah, there is a story behind the cutting of my hair. But I'll tell that as we get towards the end, because there's still a lot more to the trip.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you see anything paranormal?
No. Well, actually, yes, I did.
Oh, story time.
Eileen took me to the house in between.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys had seen it, but I posted a picture of it
Mm-mm. I
uh,
didn't see it.
that day. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we just only drove by it. We just only drove by it. Let me see if I can find it.
Does it look the same still?
It does.
Tom's like the paranormal took your hair. It would have been funny if it was the pickle took your
Rick,
hair.
you have seriously got to get pickles off your mind.
I was not even trying to say pickles. All right, let's see what we got.
Okay,
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at
There's
that.
the house.
Yep.
That's from the street.
That's from the street. That is from Eileen's car. We drove.
So the
Is it-
property runs further back that way. Then.
I was going to say, looks more like you actually took it in the middle of the woods.
It does, but we were actually driving by. I took the picture. Then she pulled in and backed out of another driveway, and we went right by it again. It was pretty awesome to see it.
Yeah.
I don't think that um, most people understood what I was posting. Maybe the paranormal people would have,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really, really cool driving by there.
I understand that lady's very, very nice that owns it.
That's what I've heard too.
I think she's still living there by herself.
No, she's not.
No?
No, she actually lives somewhere else. Um, but she owns the house,
Yeah.
but it is under the control of Brad Cooney,
Okay. Okay.
more or less.
Is he living there?
No, nobody actually lives there.
Okay.
So,
I wish she could have lived there because she loved that house.
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah. Um, Eileen had told me a lot of things about this house that I can't repeat public.
Right.
There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes, even before the first movie. They started filming the first movie. There was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to get into that, but there is a lot of history with the house. Um, Eileen says that the haunting in the house is legit.
Oh, I bet.
So, um, but yeah, she. This is where the first
Hey,
humor
Grizzly.
story comes in. She actually got lost trying to take me to this house.
That would be
I
me.
would be surprised that she would be lost because it's not really that difficult to find, it looks like.
It's not. It's right there in the city. But the problem is her GPS was taking her the back way, and she wasn't familiar with that area.
Yep.
And holy cow, it she couldn't have gotten on the worst roads. It was one of those things where it's going up and down and zigzagging back and forth to the point where you can't see the street ahead of you because of how steep the
Yep.
roads are.
Yep.
Oh man, it was horrible. And there was one curve that we came up to. There was there was a dog. There was a dog that was right there at the side of the street. So Eileen moves over to give room, and here comes this big ass truck coming in. So she had to swerve right back into her lane, and this dog was completely oblivious that it was ever in danger. It did not react to anything. It was just sniffing around on the ground. Did not realize that it came maybe 6 inches of being hit.
Mm.
Um, but once she got into the town of Florence, then she was able to find the way to the house.
Yeah.
But she was going in the back way because that's what the GPS told her. That's where she went, and she got lost.
That would be me.
Yeah,
You know, I think again when you talked not too long ago, Jeremy, about like all the stops and stuff that we'd make if I was there. I think I probably would be laughing in the back of the car, knowing that Eileen got lost. Basically, saying, "All right, thanks, Eileen, we're lost. Now everything's become Blair Witch style."
yeah. You would have been laughing at most of those things.
I
Um,
probably
and
would.
also on this same trip, this is where we went right after the battlefield. We're on the interstate, and all of a sudden the GPS tells her to get off the interstate and go down this little rickety country road. So we go across this bridge, and we see the name of this bridge, and automatically Eileen and I are thinking, wait a minute, is this that one bridge that we were just reading about? Turned out it was, and it was the Clear Creek Bridge.
Oh wow!
The GPS took us off at the very last exit. We went through this bridge, and then all of a sudden, the GPS took us right back to the interstate. It was like the GPS knew that wanted us to go through this bridge.
And what is the significance of that bridge?
So the significance.
Excuse me.
Um, let's see here.
Isn't that where you said it collapsed back in
Yeah.
1939?
Yes. About 9 p.m., March 29, 1939, an 80-foot section of the concrete bridge over Clear Creek washed downstream. It was storming that night. Travelers on Highway 80, which is that road, only now is called Old Highway 80. The main thoroughfare between the east and the west coast drove into the darkness and into the unknown. 12 cars and one truck dropped off into the rushing waters before traffic could be stopped. 16 people drowned, 8 people survived. Some cling to treetops, helpless as they watch other cars plunge into the abyss.
Wow.
Andrew Sugarman Daniel tried to stop the cars, but they refused to follow his pleas. In the following days, he served as search and rescue in the unseasonably cold waters, which it's March, without the aid of any equipment, in mud-thickened waters, clogged with logs and debris. He located bodies and vehicles as thousands of families, friends, and curious onlookers stood by.
What day did that happen?
March 29th, 1939.
Yeah.
So it's close.
Yeah. Almost
Yeah,
80 years.
this is the guy. He was like a giant of a man.
90 years. Excuse me.
His nickname is Sugar Man, and his job was cleaning. Let's see, uh, he 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 was an animal whisperer. He cleaned the water tower of the town. Let's see, he was given honorary title of fire chief of Edwards um, Volunteer Fire Department. So let's see.
I don't know, Nikki. You must be seeing the screen backwards from the rest of us.
What's up, Nikki?
Well, let's make it right then.
There we go.
So yeah, this guy was basically a hero. Or yeah, he was a hero. Um, there was actually a book written about him,
That's awesome.
but yet there's no Wikipedia page about him. That's not right.
You can add one, right?
Good, yeah, good. So, but the problem is there enough sources out there to support that page? These people on Wikipedia are vultures.
I've never tried, but I know anybody could add something.
Yeah. His home is no longer there. It had been torn down in the 1970s. He died in 1969, and his house he built himself, and they tore it down in the 70s. So evidently, they did not realize that itself could have been a historical house.
Well, remember they were talking about redoing the colony up here that I took you to?
Yeah.
It was going to be a park. It was going to be this. It was going to be that.
Yep.
Well, the last time we went through there, they are shoring up the houses and the ones that were, which I wish they'd do it to all of them because that was a town of its own. But they're trying to say what they
when
can.
you took me there, and one was about ready to go.
Yeah, they have like chain link around it now and are shoring them up. Now, what they're actually doing with it, last I heard, was still going to be a park, but we'll see.
Well, they can't afford to make that a park if all them mosquitoes are there.
No, but you would think I would have voted for it to go to the African American Museum because you'd think they'd take care of their own. They did not. They sold out. They did not take care of it.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of people these days, they sell out.
Yep. Only worried about themselves.
Yep. So yeah, that was a really unique thing that the GPS took us out just to go to that bridge and then put us right back on the interstate.
Hey, Liz. Who's Liz?
Trying to see who that could
Probably
be.
Must be another page.
It probably is.
somebody who's watching but not commenting.
Yeah, probably most likely.
Yeah.
Must be
So
a page that we're not seeing or something.
so we get out of there, then we go through um then we go to the Mississippi House, I think is what they called it. House in between. So then I take off and go to Louisiana. Louisiana is Baton Rouge is a crowded, bad place to drive through.
I thought it would have been New Orleans that would have been more crowded than Baton Rouge.
It is, but Baton Rouge is really bad. Where I was staying was only a less than 10-minute drive to the Civic Center where we were bowling. Took a half hour to drive through there because of how bad traffic was.
I wouldn't want to live somewhere like that. No way.
No. Um, and I was across the river. So the first day I had to go around to another bridge and come back in the back way. The first day of bowling, it was it was in the morning, so traffic wasn't bad. I was able to get there no problem. The next day, nope. Starting at 2 p.m., that is when the traffic starts piling up.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
It was bad.
I,
Uh,
I gotta ask then, because I need to get your honest opinion. Would you say that traffic down there would be worse than Chicago traffic?
about the same.
So for less or worse, or for better or for worse?
It's about the same.
About the same. Okay, you said not the same, so that's why I wasn't.
About the same.
Okay, I thought you said not the same. Okay, about the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but the absolute worst is New York City.
Actually, I heard Atlanta, Georgia is even worse.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, Atlanta, I think, is more notorious for their traffic than even Chicago because it's a lot worse than over here.
Atlanta is really bad, but keep in mind it had been. Oh, when did I drive through there? 15 years ago, 16 years ago.
That was when we drove through there too. That was when we were going to a cruise. So
That's
who knows? We may have passed. I was gonna say we may have passed by you on the highway that day.
Yeah, you got like 20 lanes going one way.
Yep,
That's
I remember that.
it still gets backed up. No, that was bad. So I left. I left Louisiana, came back into Mississippi, and I met up with Donald.
I was gonna say, did you ever get to meet up with Donald?
I did. I met up with Donald. He gave me a tour of his house. His house is on the registry.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. The only thing about his house is I would not want to live somewhere where the ceiling is about 15 feet because
Gosh, jeez.
you would have to be, yeah. So think about what it must be like to change a light bulb.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
Yeah. Because you're looking way up there. Holy shit.
So basically, you would have to use a ladder to get up there.
You have to use a very tall ladder to get up there. And that is not for me. It's a beautiful house. He's got a huge backyard.
Oh, I'm sure.
But man, I would not want to be there because of how high that ceiling is.
I mean, it's like I would live there, but I don't know if I could do that kind of work. Like, just no. If I had to use a ladder, it would have to be one of those ladders, like those stair stepping ladders. That's the only way you're going to get me up there.
Well, here's the thing.
You have to use something with a bucket to get you up.
If you own your home, and even a one story, you have to climb your butt up there and clean those gutters.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to check the roof after any storms.
That is why you have a leaf screen on your gutter, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not paying that kind of money. Have you seen that? Mm-mm.
I was going
I
to say
will take my ass
more
up there
lesser-
as long as I can.
I was
That
going
was
to say
part
to a
of-
more
that was
lesser
part of my
degree.
project when I got this house. So that was one of the things I added onto the list of the things I was already paid for. So
Yeah, no. This one's not, and I will take my ass up there before I'm going to pay for all that around this house.
I was going to say to a more lesser degree, sometimes, of course, you have to go up on the roof to like put Christmas lights up and take them down.
I don't do that. Nope.
My dad used to, my dad used to do that every Christmas, but now that he's turned 65 and older, unfortunately, as much as we all love it, he doesn't do it anymore, which we're kind of glad that he stopped at 65.
Yeah, Zach takes his butt out there, and he's scared of heights.
Well, and that's why, as you guys can see right now, that's why when I decorate, it's just in the inside of the house.
That's fine.
We only do Christmas outside.
Well, I mean, even if I could, I did actually try helping my dad once out with the lights on the roof, and not being used to being on the roof very often. And normally I'm not someone who's afraid of heights, but man, it can sometimes get to you after a while. And then the other problem was too, because again, I was not used to this. Of course, obviously, it's hard to watch where you're going, because one of my first steps I made on the roof with all these lights, I hear the and I looked down and I broke one of the lights, stepped on one of them.
Yep, I do that every year. But, Mom and Dad were telling us, or Mom was telling me how her and her sisters would climb out the windows, which the room Jeremy stays in has no little awning there. But my office and our bedroom has an awning right there where you can just get out, and I'm going to tell you what, no. They used to go out there and sit and talk and do whatever. Hell no. That is an incline. This is not just a little, no, this is an incline. No.
You should see the incline of my house. It is steep.
Yeah, I've seen it for myself.
Very steep.
Yes,
That's good
indeed.
for weather.
Yeah.
It is, but if I ever needed to get up on my roof or anything, I am not getting on that. I get on the roof that's above my entertainment room, because that's more leveled out. But the one for the original house, like right above me, it is steep.
Now, there's for whatever reason, I guess there was a fireplace here at one point, and it comes out from the kitchen. But I am not. It needs, the chimney up there needs repaired. I see a brick come off of it.
Guys, I'll be right back. I got to tell my mom something real quick. I'll be right back.
So
Scream like the rest of us do.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
Hey, Ma!
I'm not about to. And there's only one or two ways I'm getting up on that steep part. If I've had a couple of drinks, and that's not safe to begin with, but that's the only time I'm going to feel safe. So, no. We're not doing it.
Yeah, well, when you had a few drinks in you, that's when you become stupid.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I met up with Donald. He gave me a whole tour around Kosciuszko. He took me to his karate building, and it's literally 2 properties down from his house.
Wow.
You just start walking down the sidewalk. You got the next house that's beside him. It's empty, and then you have railroad track. Well, there are railroad tracks, but they don't use it anymore. They paved over on the street, but the railroads are still there in the yard, and then there's his building.
Yeah. It's cheaper to pave over them than to try to pull them.
Yeah. And then he also showed me the firehouse that he works at, and showed me some of the haunted locations out there. And neither one of us could shut up. I told him I'd like to leave at about 3 o'clock so I can get on the road because my goal was to get into Missouri by the end of the night. I ended up leaving at about 3:45 because neither one of us could shut up. And so I ended up stopping in Blytheville, Arkansas, which I've always liked the name of that town, but I never think that Blytheville is only 3 miles away from Missouri. But even still, it's another 20, 30 miles to the next town.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stop so that I could cut my hair.
Still talking about cutting your hair, huh?
I just said it.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying still talking about that, eh?
So,
Hold up.
the thing about my hair, I'm standing there in the mirror. I got my shears, and I'm thinking, am I ready? Am I really ready to do this? So,
Jeremy, I got to just say something real quick. If I knew that whichever night you were going to cut your hair, I would have had a perfect song for you on that case. Because I don't know if you ever, this isn't like a really well-known band, but did you ever hear of that band? That was
I
called,
can tell you right now that no song would have been appropriate.
well, here's just a quick. Have you ever heard of that band that was called Pavement? You ever remember that one? They were an indie rock band from the 90s, but in 1994, they did a song that was called Cut Your Hair, and their music video even extended to a barber shop. So I thought it's fun. And there's people who said on YouTube that that's the perfect song to get a haircut. So in other words, if I knew whichever night you were going to cut your hair, I would have sent that song to you.
Well, I was kind of debating on whether if I was going to do it while I was on the road or if I was going to wait until I got home. I normally would have done it the night before I left Louisiana. But I was meeting up with Donald the next day, and I thought, I got to have my hair for that.
I was going to say, you probably should have your hair for that if you're going to meet up with Donald.
So I'm standing there in front of the mirror. I got the shears. I'm thinking, okay, well, it's got to be done because I need to have my hair growing back by the time next year's tournament comes around, which is at the end of May. So I get this part right here, then my shears stop.
Oh,
it's charged, still running, but it's not cutting any more hair.
Oh man, wouldn't that be the way?
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, this is not good because I now have this part already taken off and I can't cut anymore. So
the best.
Well, I'm just gonna keep on trying. Maybe I gotta get the right angle and everything. Nothing worked.
As I would probably put it, Jeremy, and I know this may not make a lot of sense what I'm about to say, is that you should have been a true man and waited till you got home and just have Clarissa cut it like she did last time.
That was still my shears.
She did a good job.
She had a lot of fun with that.
I can tell she
we
did.
all
That's
did.
why I say you should have waited till you got home for her to cut it off again.
No, we did not discuss that. Actually, I don't even know if she even knew I was cutting my hair.
Was it? Josh was asking, did you donate to Locks of Love? Is it the Locks of Love or?
Wigs for Kids.
Okay.
I will never donate to Locks of Love because they throw out 80% of the hair.
What?
Yeah,
That's like a complete ripoff. Then,
pretty much.
like,
It-
Why would they do that?
yeah, like, why would they do
They
that?
don't want white hair or gray hair. They want
Full color.
full dark hair or blonde. So if you got white hair, no. And I thought, no, that's not going to work for me. Wigs for Kids takes everything.
Well, yeah, because they can dye it, and you don't. You can. It's real hair, so if you want to dye it, you can dye it. If you want to bleach it, you can bleach it. You can do what you want.
Yep.
I don't make the rules. So
I know there's lots of nonprofits that we won't mess with
Yeah.
either because of, that they're not. Yes, on paper they're nonprofit, but they are very much for profit.
Yeah, so once I found that out about Locks for Love, now I started looking at elsewhere. There's like a handful of places for hair. So
Yeah.
when I found Wigs for Kids and saw what all they do, that's the one. That's the one I'm going with.
Mhm.
So I'm there. I'm holding my hair and trying to do this thing, and eventually I would start getting more of the haircut, and now I have all of this part here gone, but I can't get all of this. So I'm doing this for 90 minutes. I'm doing this for 90 minutes, and finally I had enough. I put my jacket on and I tried to do the hoodie part so that you can't see how shitty it looked back there. I go to Walmart and buy a new thing, a new shears, hoping that this thing was charged. It was.
I hope so. I hope it was.
It was charged. And in less than 5 minutes, I had the rest of it off.
Did you throw the other ones out?
No, I still got it.
Oh, jeez.
I still got it. I do need to test it out. When I trim down the beard next time, I will be testing that out and see if how well that works. Um,
It's cheaper to buy a new whole setup than it is
Yep.
to buy just the heads for them.
yeah,
Oh, I believe it.
yeah. It was. It
Josh,
was
it's not-
such a horrible night. I
Okay.
was pissed.
Josh said it must feel cold now, right?
It does.
I would be surprised.
I'm okay with that. The only thing that I don't like with hair like this is when I'm trying to put a shirt on or take it off.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
How
because
do you think women feel trying to take pants off and put them on?
I am not going to comment on
I don't blame you for not.
but up here it felt like Velcro. Because once my shirt gets over, it's like it won't move.
Now you know how we feel.
Jared Tom's like, you look like the Geronimo before cutting the other half.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what I was really worried about the whole thing was how everything was going to look with the scar.
Yeah.
The scar is a little wider than I expected, but there's still a bumpy spot right here, but otherwise everything is more kind of I don't know like caved in skin wise. But when I get over here, it's still kind of bumpy. So this part here bled pretty good when I used the razor to shave shave my head.
I bet.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do they even still do toupees anymore?
Not that I know of. I'm sure they do somewhere because, well, yeah, obviously they do. We have a leader that wears them.
Uh, so so yeah. After I finally got the last of my hair back here off, got it shaved, hopped into the shower, and I was like, oh, it's done. Because I was in panic mode. I was thinking, oh, what am I going to do? I I don't want to drive home like this, and if I did, I don't want to go to the store looking like that. So if I'm going to go anywhere where people don't know me, it has to be here. Um, I was even thinking of getting a hold of my dad and daughter's lady that cut their hair and and have her do the rest of mine. Holy cow! I was just so glad that that nightmare was over. That was the worst experience I've ever had cutting my hair off.
I was going to say, what was the worst?
That was
Wait, what was the worst? Cutting it?
no this time around. Taking my hair off was the worst experience I've ever had in all the times I've shaved my head.
Hats, Josh said.
I don't do hats. Um, yeah, I just do not like wearing hats.
I wear hats all the time, as you guys know.
Yeah, no, not me. I do not like hats. I don't like baseball. I will wear the white brim ones that I have. I have two of those. In fact, I even wore one of those during the 13th Dimension promo that we did before we started the show.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I do like those kind of hats, but otherwise, I do not like wearing hats. So now I'm just curious to see how much white is going to come out now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something you got to worry about.
yeah, but I'm only going to do this two more times. Once I hit 50, I will donate my hair one last time, and then I'll just do whatever.
Tom said when I went to the hair club, they saved it.
The hair club?
I don't know what the hair club is.
Oh, hair club for men.
Oh, okay, okay. Now I know what that is.
Yeah, Cy
Okay.
Sperlin. I remember that name, Cy Sperlin. Um, Not only am I the president of the hair club for men, but I am also a client or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember that commercial.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I'm just glad this is all done and now it's starting to go back out.
I mean, it does. I do remember the last time when you cut it, and it's pretty typical, is that it went out, grew out pretty quickly. Shortly after you took it all off.
It it goes back fast. My hair does.
Yeah.
My
And
son did too, Joshua. He was 18 with his first few gray hairs.
Oh,
I
jeez.
found my first gray hair when I was 24.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was just recently that I discovered my first gray hair, and I was about 29 or 30 when I
Well,
got my first gray hair. And you know what's funny was when I discovered my first gray hair, I didn't think that was actually my hair. I thought maybe like a piece of thread or something got stuck. I pulled
that's the
it out.
stage right there, Nick. That's the first stage, denial.
Yeah, it's like so I pulled it out, and then afterwards I pulled a little bit too hard and like boing and ow. That was like, oh my God, I guess that was my hair then.
Yeah. Well, what's really bad for me? I had finally when I was talking about this the last time, I decided to go with that that sleazy villain look, the one where you got the mustache come all the way down here, and then this strip right here.
Oh jeez.
When
Yeah.
I did the pictures for the tournament, I thought this is going to look good because I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, I like this look. You can't even see this because it was so white. The camera, you had to really zoom in to look at it. I'm thinking, oh, this is shit. Just 2 years ago. I had a lot of darkness there, and now it's all white. Oh, I was so pissed.
Just for men.
Even I was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there were times like even when I saw the first gray hair in this case for me, it's like when even after I pulled it out. Not only did I realize it was my hair, but even the first time I kind of looked at it for a second, thinking, "What the hell is that? That's my hair right now. It's not supposed to be happening at this age." Now I guess I realize it can happen anytime.
Now 2 more are going to be coming out.
I've already got a couple grown out since then, so
That's because you pulled it out.
I know. I was Jill actually told me that one time, saying that I often heard that like if you try pulling out like one or a few of the gray hairs, that'll actually cause more of them to grow
That's
out.
yeah, that's the myth. I
Yeah,
think
that's exactly what it is, a myth, because all follicles are separate. Unless you're growing 2 hairs out of that one follicle, that's not the case. They lose their pigments separately. It just means you found it. It's already there. It's happening. So
but it's still a pretty cool little story to tell your kids.
Well, I will say that the one thing I will say is that, and trust me, because I know this all too well, is that even though I'm growing a couple gray hairs already, at least it's not going in a much faster process to like when people are like smoking cigarettes or doing drugs or drinking. Because I actually heard that could even cause your hair to go gray even sooner than naturally expected. That's
I don't
why
know
there
about
was
all that.
The color of your hair after doing all the smoking and the drugs and everything, that is the least of your worries.
Yeah.
I thought that contributed to the gray hair sometimes.
Not in my case, it didn't.
Okay. Well,
My
in that
mother
case,
was
that
It
kind
gray.
doesn't- to me, it doesn't matter if your hair is affected by drug use or not. I'd be more worried about my heart.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. My mom was gray at 30. And I mean, white, gray, white, whatever. And she never smoked a day in her life. I started going gray around 40, 45 maybe. And I smoked since I was 16.
I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was a friend of my mom's. Um, one of her girlfriends was gray before they even got out of high school.
Yeah, my son was gray before he got out of high school. Not completely, but there was lots of gray hairs.
Yeah,
I'm
this
sure.
one here, she was completely gray before she graduated.
I do know, I heard a story, and I can't remember. It was a paranormal experience this person had. And I don't remember if she got terrified or if she was possessed. I don't remember what the whole story was. But anyway, she had a paranormal experience, and overnight, her hair was white.
I have heard that parts of your hair can turn white from a truly frightening experience.
That is actually something I've heard of, and this is something I'm surprised we haven't talked about on Fear Fans. So let me just give you a quick example of it. Like, let's say we talk about an extremely frightening experience.
It happened on It.
Well, not only that, let's use this example because I heard this from a documentary. Exorcist 3, that horrific, like horrifying, like that terrifying scene out in the hallway. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's like a wide shot, and it's like 3 or 4 minutes of just complete silence. And the camera work that's done, it's all complete 1, 2, 3, and it's like a 3 or 4 minute segment of nothing, no changes like to any other scenes, just focusing on this hallway of a nurse like doing her work and stuff. And it works. And the way how they process this was great because you're not expecting anything, especially when it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes at the most. But as you're getting closer to the end of that clip, the nurse is like getting ready, I guess, to go home or something. And as she's about to leave, suddenly this white hooded figure shows up with these giant shears, which doesn't necessarily show what happens, because the camera zooms in and it has like this unbelievably terrifying music. It was like, shoo, that kind of thing. And it is just absolutely an insane scene. And they actually say that is really like one of the few movie scenes that after you watch it, you actually have to go to the mirror to see if your hair has gone white because it is so frightening when you see it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that almost happened to me because the last time I saw it, I mean, I've seen Exorcist 3, and it had been so long since I've seen the movie, so I kind of forgot about this scene. Somebody was recommending me to watch it for something I was working on at the time. I'm sitting down here, in fact, and it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I sit down and I'm watching this clip, and I think to myself, the hell is this? There's nothing scary going on or anything. That night, I was also falling asleep. So I fall asleep to the scene. And then when that part came up, I cannot tell you, it absolutely scared the hell out of me completely.
What would make that even better, Nick, is if that scene had just happened and then one of your parents come up and touch your shoulder.
I'm surprised that didn't happen, but I was so shaky. I mean, I almost screamed. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? And just like when people said, I literally ran up to the mirror and I had to check if my hair had gone white. And at that time, I was only like 20 or 21. So it's no joke, but I thought my hair would have gone white. But I will definitely say, though, I definitely had to change my underwear after that.
Well, science would tell you, and I've heard this story, but I don't know the validity of the story because science would tell you your hair grows out and pigment grows out of the follicle.
Yes.
So how is the rest of it going to turn white? I don't know how that happens, but all of a sudden you have this gray hair that's all the way down the length of the rest of your hair.
I heard something about oxygen into the follicles. I don't know. But I have heard that there are rare cases where gray hair can return back to normal color.
Yes.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. It's rare, but I have heard that it does happen.
Okay, Tom, I know you smoke, but I've never seen you do drugs. What the hell are you talking about? Josh,
he might be talking about his pain meds.
Oh, pain meds. Yeah, I thought you meant. I thought he was talking about like bad stuff, but
yeah, different kind of drugs there, Tommy.
Yeah, I know. Josh,
not you, him.
Yeah, him. I mean, yeah. Josh said his Aunt Esther had white hair at 19. Well, and it's funny. I also remember back in high school, we used to have a we had a student in our gym class who wait, what? I'm gonna need my hair normal color before graduation. Then I was about to say, back in high school, there used to be this kid that was in our gym class, and he's only like 14 or 15 years old, and he had white hair. Although most likely in that case, it was probably a case of albinism. Probably albinism.
Hold on, guys. Hey, babe. Yeah. Isaac's calling you.
I don't think Zach has seen me with this hair yet.
I'd like to see his reaction to this. This I gotta see.
Zach hasn't seen my hair yet, has he?
I don't think so.
I like to see
I
his reaction.
did notice. I did
like to see
notice
his
he
reaction
took off
on
his goatee or his
Definitely would
beard.
like to see his, definitely would like to see his reaction out of that.
So, so I got all my hair off. I tied it up, put it in the Ziploc bag. Everything's fine.
Oh, looks like
I
he's
get
on his
home.
way.
I get home, and Dad knows I'm coming without hair. Um, Angelia has seen me without hair, and each time she's always coming up here and doing this to me. And sure enough, she did it when I came home, and it's like every day, especially when I'm feeding her, she's got her hands reached out and she's just playing with the top of my head, and I'm trying to get the spoon in between and into her mouth.
Well, that tells you how much she does notice changes.
Yep.
Yes, she does.
Well, and the first time I realized how much she actually realizes and remembers was when you were gone for that time in the hospital, and then you went to go see her.
Yeah,
And
that took a minute for her to realize that was me.
but when she did, she knew,
Yeah,
and she was cuddled up, and she showed the emotions of missing someone.
yep.
Right,
Oh, she
right.
did. She really did. And the thing is, it's trying to talk to her while my mouth was still wired shut and I sound different.
Yeah.
But once she realized, yeah, and I know I had to have been confusing because I sound different. I got this thing wrapped around my neck. I got an eye patch on. I don't look anything like what I did when she last saw me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, she loves my shaved head. She just comes
She
up.
likes to feel it, the texture.
That's exactly what it is.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when it was a weird habit I had when I was younger, and my parents just recently brought it up. It's actually up to a point where I almost forgot about this. Honestly, when I was really young, again, it was the autism playing the role. Whenever somebody had like a shaved head or something like that, I would always want to touch their head.
Yep.
It's just the feeling of it. And obviously, I always got in trouble for doing that a lot. But there were times, I think there were even times I sometimes say, I want to rub it.
I do it to myself
Yeah.
because it just feels so weird.
No.
Yeah. Right there, you look just like Tim.
Right?
Yep. Look just like Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I need a beard that comes down to here.
I was gonna say you should have had Tim on tonight to do like a comparison.
Well, he was on the other show.
Yeah, I was watching that. That was a good show, by the way, because they were talking about my favorite topic, cryptids, especially the Mothman.
Normally I'm watching their shows and commenting, but today I'm just so busy. I did not get on there till like less than 5 minutes before the end of the show.
Oh man.
Yeah, I try to jump in at least say hi, and today was not it.
I was commenting with them for quite a while because I knew, again, if it was something involving cryptids, I was definitely going to be there for it. But unfortunately, I wasn't there for too long because today's been kind of a rough day for me with work once again. I've still been exhausted from the ordeal. And no, Tom, yes, my hair at times may look thick, but it's definitely not greasy. I don't know where he's coming up with that.
Yeah, well,
Back
they
in the
still have
60s.
6 more episodes to go because they're only doing 15 shows for the season.
Oh, they are? Okay.
That's what Scott and Tim agreed to do.
Okay. Have you considered just as an idea about bringing that show also onto Things Network, or do they just want to do this independently?
They just want to do it independently.
Okay.
Because after, well, I don't want to talk about it, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that really burnt them. Not here, but a lot of things about particular networks that burnt them. And they just don't want to. They just want to do their own thing on that one.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yep.
Yeah, but I did get them to agree. 13th Dimension, we're going to do it.
Yes.
So you were a part of that, Nick.
Yeah, I know, but it's great to hear that it's going to be a confirmation now.
Yeah. Now it's just a matter of actually scheduling that. And
Yep.
speaking of scheduling it, we need to get you and Kate on board with the Crown Point investigation.
Yes. In fact, I've already spoken to Kate about that, and she is interested. It's just a matter of hopefully if she has time to take a break from being with her family in this case. It's just but I'm doing everything I possibly can to get her out to Crown Point Jail.
Yeah, let's see. When did I? That's in July.
Speaking of the jail, I think it's been pretty much a long time since I brought this up. What was the date for that again? We were going to have the investigation.
July 26th.
Okay, so in that case, just the week before that, as a reminder, I made a slideshow for the Lake County Jail, and I was gonna do an episode of Nick Files the week prior, like we did with the Holy Cross Abbey, to add it as kind of a precursor to the investigation. So I already have a slideshow put together for that one, so it's all set and ready to go when we get closer to that day.
Very good. Very good. Oh, what happened there?
I accidentally kicked the laptop a little bit. I was stretching out my legs.
I thought it was Slinky doing that.
No, it's not. No, there's no way she could do it because it's also kind of hanging off the edge of a table.
Uh-oh.
The reveal.
I saw it. Yeah. You got quite a 7-head going there, pal.
Jeremy, you should have full screened
What's
yourself.
this?
So now you
Little
officially
curly hair.
have more hair than I do.
Yeah, it's a nice change. Let's be honest here, but
Stop your growling.
It is nice. I can hop in the shower, and 5 minutes later, I can get out of the shower
Come here.
completely clean.
Jeremy, you should
Yeah.
have put yourself on full screen.
I don't need to put myself on full screen.
yeah, I always liked that, being able to jump in the shower and be done like a lot quicker,
Yeah.
So
With my long hair, it would take 25 minutes. Oh,
yeah.
my water
So-
bill is definitely.
No, but it looks good, man, and I like what you do. The whole fact that you give it up for charity. I think it's great.
I'll be doing it 2 more times, and then I'll stop.
Yeah, I would too, but they'd go, well, we don't need like a thumb toupee because your hair is so thin that that's about all we could make out of it. So maybe make some kid a little fake mustache with my hair, with my thin ass hair. So
I had
Grow your beard out and put it on somebody's head. That shit ain't thin.
one gal wanted me to give her my hair so that she could make a bikini out of it.
Was she going to crochet it?
She actually asked me that. This is about 10 years ago. She actually asked me that, and I was, no, I'm not going to do that.
I got to be
You're
honest with
serious?
you. If that actually happened, I probably would be kind of itchy to wear. It'd be a little itchy to wear, definitely.
Hey, that's on her.
You said that too, that it would have been itchy?
Well, no, I'm saying if that's the case, that would have been on her.
is that machine washable, or do you got to get in the shower and shampoo
I was
it?
gonna say, how do you wash it then?
Hey, whatever she would do with the hair after I gave it to her, that is out of my hands.
I was gonna say that's her problem then.
But I was so shocked that she asked me this. It took me a second to actually process this and then try to picture it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously.
But here's the thing. She was, and I'm pretty sure still is, in incredible shape. She's like a fitness nut. And that's what she wanted to do.
And that would be kind of hard to still. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest. That would be difficult to do for like fitness. Like if wearing it like out to the. Whoops, sorry, did that again. Wearing out to the beach or something like that. That'd be tough
I'm starting to get
enough.
motion sickness now, Nick.
Just sorry. I just like being out in the beach or something out, and you'd just be scratching all over. But then like now in this case with exercise, that'd be a totally different. That's a whole different scenario right there,
Like,
especially when you're trying to work out.
like Josh said, it's her business.
Yeah, I just wonder if every time, like after a while, if, she would sit down on a black couch or something, stand up, and all the dandruff would come out, and people would wonder, well,
Can you
they're
imagine-
hoping it's dandruff.
Can you imagine too, by the way, that you got all this? Imagine that you had to turn into a bikini and all of a sudden it attracted like lice or fleas or something like that. They put on, oh man, this is even itchier than it was before. What the hell's going on? You get all these. You get all these
Well, again, I go to what Josh said. That's her problem.
yeah.
Yeah, if she took that somewhere to contract it, I don't know what to tell her, because once she takes it off, it's going to be on her skin, not the hair, because that's what they feed off of.
Yeah, but they would still have strands of hair left and possibly some of those fleas or lice.
My question is, Jeremy, did this lady have like a drinking problem maybe? Because that would be like, I mean, I've seen some weird ass bathing suits in my day.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of old.
Josh is loving this.
But
Problem. I don't think she did.
I will guarantee you this. I don't think I could see myself walking down a beach and looking at some lady with the, hairy bikini and go, yeah, that's what I want.
Well, I went to look her up. She must have deactivated her page. But I don't see her anymore.
I don't even think that would even contribute. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even think that could contribute to like model magazines. Like, imagine having it on the front cover of like a Playboy magazine or something.
Guys,
I don't know. Maybe the French Sports Illustrated would get a kick out of it. I guess. So.
guys, that would not be the first hair clothing.
Well, I am planning on doing a story involving hair, only something much different.
If it's a hair and bikini, I don't want nothing to do with your story.
No, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. But with what I've got in my mind, it's going to be a good one, and it's going to be a very unique story, and it's not going to be anything supernatural.
Well,
Listen, Chrissy's in the chat.
The Listen Queen is here.
Listen.
I guess a female could grow out her armpit hairs and the other hairs and braid them up and, make something out of it.
Hey,
Just kind of
all this
braid them up, put it this way. I don't know.
Hey, guys, I don't know if you guys are going to see this, but
I don't think that's even possible.
Tom just sent this to me.
I don't think so either, but
Check this out. Tom just sent this to me saying if he went gray, it's like a 9-second video. Oh. Okay, you can't see it too well, but it's definitely, he's got like a full beard.
All
I see
I can see is sunglasses.
He's got the white below was supposed to be like a long beard. And then he sent this to me if I got older myself. I don't know if you guys are going to see this one, but here, check this out.
Oh yeah,
that now if you wanted to.
Yeah, he sent that to me.
Oh, he said that
You
to
can
you
do
too.
that now if you wanted to.
Yeah, that was actually in the group of pictures that he sent me some time ago that he wanted me to put on, and I was going through all. No, I am not going to show these on.
I remember those. That was when he switched the genders on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was one of those that he had included into that. I'm thinking,
I just
no,
I
not this.
just love the response that you gave to say that you were not going to put that up.
Yeah, it just would not have been appropriate.
Yo, that was funny.
How did we go from a trip to a hair bikini?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about my hair, and that actually is a story that legitimately happened to me.
Well, I can honestly say normal people, and I'm far from normal, have never asked a man for their hair to make a bikini out of.
I, I shit you not, this really happened to me. I don't think I could make that up. But wow,
that's no, that's still funny as hell.
it was funny, but I could think of a lot of different things that I could do with her, but giving her my hair to make a bikini out of it was not something I would have guessed.
I would have done it just because I
If she would actually do it,
yeah.
I think she would have found a way.
Well,
I
then
think she would have found a way.
that would have been,
What's up, Jill?
serious.
Oh,
You could have said, "Hey, this actually happened."
Yeah.
Jill wants me to show that picture again. Here, check this out, Jill.
If I ever do run into her again, I'll have to talk to her about that. maybe even get her briefly
Send it
on
to
the
her.
show, or yeah, I'll just have to
Okay, that's
talk to her
normal.
about that.
Might have to replay it.
Yeah, you can actually do that now if you wanted to.
That just looks like me in just a few years from now in my late 30s.
Yeah.
So you plan on growing a beard in your late 30s?
Well, I actually did used to grow a beard during my early to mid 20s.
Why don't you try it now?
So it's
Well,
not
because-
age.
Well, because, Tom was actually the one who suggested that I should take the beard off because he's like saying, Nick, considering at your age, you still have this relatively youthful appearance, you might want to shave that all off just because you're not going to have that youthful appearance forever.
Well,
you should
now
still
you're going
have
to
it in your late
so
30s.
that nobody mistakes
Well,
you.
yeah, my late 30s in this case, yeah.
Right now, Nick, is when you want to do it so that nobody can say you look 12 again.
I don't know. With all the hormones they put in shit, 12-year-olds are looking 20.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, that's true.
Fair point, yeah.
Yep.
Fair point.
If 12-year-olds have bigger boobs than I ever had, yeah, we got a problem. But you know what? I will say this.
Something ain't right there.
When you're old, you are very thankful you didn't have those huge boobs back then because they're not to your belly button later. I saw this. This was hilarious. It was this TikTok. This woman had breastfed her baby, got done. Baby was like 3. She goes to her doctor and says, "I have this hole between my boobs.
Jeez.
I need you to look at it." And all they show is, of course, her backside, not the front. And she's opening her coat.
Oh, God.
And he goes, "That's your belly button."
Oh, God. They're I heard this as a joke from a show, and I would say if I wanted to, but I can't even say. You know what? Even when I think about it, as funny as it is, I'm not even going to go down that. It's going to sound really, really X-rated. So yeah, I'm just not going to touch it. But I would tell it to you, though, Adrian.
Have you even paid attention to what I say? Does it really matter? Say it.
No, it was what you not involving with what you were just saying, but you were saying about before that. So
Say it.
Josh here says, I think a goatee would be good if I wanted.
There you go.
Actually, more men going bald these days, and they're very handsome, more so without hair than with.
Yeah.
He's I love the comments. Everybody's saying this now to me about that. I could still see. I'm trying to scroll up, and I'm really having trouble getting to this. Damn it! I was going to go up to like what Jill said. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, they're all saying the same thing. Yeah, and it could do that now if you wanted to. They're all saying that. Oh my God, Jill! Now she just said with a goatee, you would look like my exes. Oh God,
Jill, did you have a bad taste in men with some gangster looking men? Joshua, first of all, the ones that have their balls hanging to their kneecaps, I don't have a problem with because that means they had some balls sometime in life. The ones that never did, that I have an issue with.
I remember having a little talk about with her of one in particular.
I'm not even going that
That
direction.
was a while ago.
The bad thing about men, I don't care what age they are, they can be 95. Those fuckers can still produce children, and most of the time can still do things to produce children. Now, how that happens, I have to know. I worked in a nursing home, and I'm telling you, those fuckers can still. That's all they think. One track mind still. I don't care what age they are.
Yeah.
How the hell did we end up in this conversation? Like you asked her a few minutes ago, Adrian.
It's just that natural progression of
Yeah, I know.
talk about.
So why do people go bald on their head but never on their face? That's where you'd want to go bald so you don't have to shave anymore.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay, so it's not a good look. If you have a beard down to here and patches all over it.
Oh well. Okay, at that point, yeah. That's when you shouldn't be doing the beard unless you do grow the beard out and you keep this shaped. Then
Joshua, you're right. Even with, I'm telling you, I had this neighbor. Even with ED, they have no problem. They have these little pumps now, no problem. This neighbor, I was in my 20s, he walks over. I'm talking barely walking. Says, if you ever want to leave your husband, or if you just want a different experience, come on over here. Excuse me, well, what'd you just say? And I'm trying to even process what the hell he's talking about. Like, you're 90, or you want me to cook different food for you? I mean, like, what is going on here? And he's like, I got a pump. Huh? What? I had to go home and look this shit up. I don't get it. At that point, he lived alone. His wife passed. The fuck you putting a pump in for?
Oh, jeez. I gotta just say with Joe. You look at Robert De Niro. He's 80, holding up his new baby. He has a new baby.
Yeah, and it's sad because do you think he's gonna be able to watch that baby graduate? Probably not.
No. I mean, if he's lucky enough to make it to age 100, maybe. But for the most part, I doubt it.
Right? And
We
the other thing is,
gotta go does that age does.
like, my first boyfriend in school, he's still on my Facebook. And he didn't have kids till my last one. And his kid and my kid look like twins. I mean, they could have passed for twins. We ended up in the same town years later. And then he got married here recently and had a kid. She just turned 4. My age, turned 4.
Jeez.
The fuck are you thinking, dude? Because
Yeah,
you're not
really.
going to be walking her down the aisle. Come on.
What is
I don't
what
understand. I
is
don't
like?
think it's fair to these
Yeah, I mean,
children.
like, well, I mean, seriously, like, what is? I don't even know how to even finish that up, honestly.
It's not fair to the kids. It's really not. That's for your own greed. At that point, that's your own greed and your own stature that you got a younger person that you can get pregnant. That's not okay. Um, Kenny Rogers had those twins, and he didn't get to watch them grow up. It's not okay.
Yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
I
Well,
wonder what they look like now.
think of which president was it? There was a president. He had children very late in life, and then those sons had children very late in their lives. Supposedly, there is still a living grandson of a president from the early 1800s.
I've seen that. I don't remember which one it was, but yes, I do remember that one. Yep.
Kind of want to say Harrison, but that doesn't sound right.
Not it was couldn't have been Andrew Jack.
I mean, you don't know how long you're going to live. None of us do. But it's unfair to take away from those children you being able to run with them and play with them and do the thing. Oh, Roosevelt, Joanne said. It's just not fair to them. Like my stepmom had a baby at 45. She did live to see her daughter married. She did live to see the grandchild. But that is not a guarantee. And she didn't get the same, outgoing
Tyler.
doing things that the rest of us got. And my daughter, now I was on the other extreme. My first daughter's only 17 years difference between me and her. And her and I, you know, to this day, we're a lot alike. And I get to tease her because she'll say, Mom, you're looking old. Just think, 17 years ain't that far away for you.
Oh,
You just keep on talking, little girl.
Is John Tyler. He has a he was the 10th president.
okay.
So he was born in 1790 and has a grandson still living today who he is 96 years old.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, see, Terry, she says she had hers 34 and 36. See, you're mature enough, you're settled enough, and you can still run around with them. That's a good age to have them. It's these 50s and 60s and
No.
no.
Didn't Elton John recently had like a kid or two a few years ago, and he was like in his 60s, I think.
Who?
Elton John.
Yeah.
I thought he did. It's been a long time. I remember
Joshua?
like back in 2013 or so that he had they had a kid or some sort.
Yeah, they did. Did your sister get the same activity and enthusiasm as you got? I think there's just some selfishness. I know accidents happen where you think you're too old as a female. You think you're too old and then accidents happen. But as a male, you can produce till your death.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, um, I heard a rumor that a woman who was 60 just had a baby not too long ago.
I want to know how a woman in her 60s is still having her period in the first damn place when most women start going through menopause at 40.
Well, there's also, I don't want to, this is going to
Or at
sound
least
so much
starting
more,
it.
this is going to sound like a much more crazier degree. And this is actually on YouTube, but I think they actually have an interview of like what is regarded as like the youngest couple, I think, to ever have a baby. And they're like only 13 years old.
Oh, I
There's a
think there's
yes.
younger. I just looked up the oldest woman to give birth is believed to have been 72.
Oh my God.
And
No
that
way.
was just
How?
7 years ago.
Jeez.
No.
I don't know. That was just 7 years ago.
My God.
In 2019, a woman in Romania gave birth at the age of 66.
I know that menopause starts, it's kind of genetic. So I do understand, okay, like Terry said, she was 54. I started in my early 40s, probably 44, 45,
I
with
think
the hot flashes,
I think that's
the
about
regularity.
average.
Yeah. So, I get that. But holy shit. I would have never thought about giving birth in my 40s.
I am looking at Wikipedia right now for pregnancy over the age of 50, and there's a lot.
Well, in this case, with what I just brought,
Here's one. Here's one that was 73.
And what did they think they were going to accomplish?
Three,
Like,
4, 5, 6. 6 women in the world in history had given birth at 70 or older.
yeah, I don't understand that at all.
5 of them are in India, and the other one was in Uganda.
Maybe they don't go through menopause as early as we do. Maybe they never hit menopause. I don't know, but
I don't know.
Well, the fact
70
that
years
5
old.
out of the 6 are in India, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that. But let's go back to I'm 51. I'll be goddamn if I'm about to be getting up every 2 hours in the night to feed a child. You can forget it. I did my time. I am finished. This is my time. I sleep through the night. Hell no. Hell no.
Okay, the oldest American woman to give birth was 63 years old, and that was back in 1996.
Yeah, Gwen Stefani. Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that
Well,
happened.
with what I just brought up a few minutes ago, like I said, these 2 kids that I found out, in this case,
Pregnant?
we're probably dealing with the youngest people to ever have had a kid of their own. Again, they're like only 12 or 13.
I could have sworn I saw something earlier than that.
In other countries, yeah, there was a 12-year-old that had a baby. I do know that. And that was here. But
Yeah, it was here. It was obviously they were still very, they were only 12 or 13, but they were actually a boyfriend and girlfriend.
well, sure. But other countries at 11, 10,
He-
they
5,
give them, they're arranged marriages.
5.
5 what?
The youngest mother in history gave birth in 1939 at the age of 5 years, 7
Oh my
and
God.
21 days.
Okay, how is that physically possible, scientifically
Yeah.
possible, and physically possible for her to go through that?
Jeez.
Her body could not handle it.
Yeah, really.
Precocious puberty. Um,
And why was she having sex? Who was having sex with her?
Yeah.
let's see. According to Peruvian law, the mere fact that Medina's pregnancy meant that she had been raped some point before
Oh,
her 5th birthday. She never reveal the identity of the father, nor the circumstances of her impregnation. Suggests she might. Somebody suggests she might really not even know.
Yeah.
Um, her
Happened.
father was arrested on suspicion of child sexual abuse, but released due to lack of evidence.
Sounds like to me it
I,
could have been actually one of those type of rape related attacks where everything happened so quickly.
and well, at 5 years old, that's not rape.
It's not
That's
right at
child
all. That poor
molestation.
kid.
And at 5 years old, unless I'm not even going to state this fact,
Well,
but
get this. She's still alive.
I figured she would be. That would put her what, like in her
She's 91,
91 years
and
old.
the baby died at the age of 40 from bone marrow disease.
So she never even got
but
to. She died. Her daughter died before she ever went.
Her son.
Her son. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he died he grew up healthy, but died in 1979 at the age of 40 from bone marrow disease.
but let's go back to
Jo-
physicality.
Joanne, at the time, I don't think DNA testing was
No,
I don't think
no.
they had that back then.
But
no.
physicality, a 5 year old. Let's picture a 5 year old and a grown man's size. That in itself could kill her.
That could have. It really could have.
The act could kill her.
Let's see.
That
That's just so
person should have
unsettling.
been. If there was DNA, that person should have been had it cut off. Period.
Yeah, really.
She had C-section to have this baby. Uh, they had to do C-section because of the size of her pelvis.
Right. It hadn't have wouldn't have spread yet. But
Right.
if she was able to produce an egg, which would mean she'd already started her cycle, which would have caused a warning to begin with, then her pelvis would have started moving, but not the size of a grown child.
You know, I just don't know how that would even be possible for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know.
The
That would
thing is, when it comes to biological stuff and medicinal stuff, anything is possible.
Yeah, it's true.
but there is a reason that nature has its own course. There is a reason for that, and we shouldn't screw with that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's the problem. People are screwing with nature all the time and have been for millennia.
Yep.
They're screwing with nature now to the point, when you're giving the meat that we eat hormones that cause males and females to hit puberty earlier.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Men's brains, it's a proven fact, men's brains do not mature till the age of 21.
To what?
I thought it was later than that.
Wait, what age?
21 usually.
Yeah, I thought it was later too. I thought now we discovered it actually goes to 26.
Now, last I heard it was 21, but that explains why. And women's mature faster. Now, at what age they peak, I don't know. But, that explains why in high school, girls think boys are dumb. Because they are. There
In a
comes a
way,
point
yeah.
where they exceed their mentality, and then they catch up. Way down the road. But a child cannot make that choice of whether they want a child or not. At the age of 16, they know they want sex, but they cannot make the decision whether they want a child. They're going to tell that woman any damn thing she wants to hear. If she wants a child, oh, hell yes, you can have it.
Well, This is the world we live in now.
Yep.
It's only getting worse.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Dinosaurs. Yes. Yes, I have seen that. There's actually a woman. And if anybody ever wants to see the epiphany of somebody gone fucking nuts and nobody's handling it,
You know,
I got you with that one. There
Yeah,
is a
I-
lady on Facebook. This lady I know through someone. And this person knew her when she was normal. What happened to her, I do not know. But she is posting on her Facebook about how she is the queen of Russia.
oh God, no.
Who said
Oh
that?
yeah, huh?
Who said that?
This person that I know through another person, and I'm watching her Facebook, and it is she did get locked up for being
Okay.
crazy as hell. She got her kids taken away for being crazy as hell, but she is got out and is posting she is the queen of Russia because Putin is her daddy.
Jeez.
And she is posting the children that she got taken away. She is posting their pictures alongside Putin.
Oh God,
And
no.
Paradelia, we all know, can
Yeah.
you can see what you want to see. And so you can see a resemblance, yes. But she is threatening the police department here, the American citizens, talking about killing people, talking about wars that she's going to start, and she is the general. And I'm talking nuts, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody. She is tagging the police department in her town as she's doing this, threatening to kill their people.
That is just crazy.
I have reported every post. She is tagging the police department, tagging the UK government, tagging Russian government. Nobody's doing a thing.
That is just like I don't even know how to finish to say what else to say. That's just
I'm reading these things going, how is
Yeah,
this even
really.
possible?
Yeah.
But she believes this. She believes that our government poisoned her and tried to kill her because she is the queen of Russia. I'm just going, I don't get it. I don't
He's
get
out
it.
of his damn mind.
So this is the same person that Jan and I went to go try to save when we took our trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She was already too far gone.
Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah.
I don't understand how it's still possible, but it's out there. And
Yep.
nobody's doing a thing about it. Tagging the damn police department.
That's just
Eventually, it's going to catch up with her.
yeah, really.
I hope so. I've even reported it under terrorism because it is.
It pretty much it's exactly what you would think it would be.
But
Uh,
if you tag the police department, you would think they would do something about it because she is threatening them.
Well, maybe it's one of those situations where they have to build a case before
Yeah.
they do something
They've 2 years.
that long.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a different story.
It's and now we're tagging, not only the Russian government, but we're tagging in a different language. Like the Russian government has their own writing in Russian.
Yeah.
It's tagged in Russian.
Jesus Christ.
It's serious stuff, serious
Yeah.
accusations that could start a world war. between us, UK, and there's another country that she claims she's a part of and now owns, mind you, owns, because she is the
In real life, it's already heading in that direction. They need
Yeah.
no help from her at all on that one.
Yep.
no, but it sure does not need to go any faster.
Tom, okay, I'm just gonna say this right now, Tom. I am just like Jerry. I am not going to share these pictures, as funny as they are.
Send them
And
to me, Tom.
it's it's the pictures of switching genders again, but this time of you and Eileen, Jerry.
Oh well, he shared a picture of me and Eileen at Hogwarts.
Yeah, I see. He just sent that to me.
Yeah, he says that watching us keeps him sane. So
Yeah, so at least you know that you're not insane because there's people more insane than you. That's okay.
well, here's the thing. I would have thought that watching us would make people go insane.
No, they realize that there's people more insane than they are.
Probably. But with that being said, we are at 2 hours and 17 minutes. This was only supposed to be an hour-long show, folks. Tonight.
You know,
Very-
that was the
They've
other.
been saying end of times, every generation has said it back from when Jesus died. I quit listening to that years ago.
I'm
Now
just
we
gonna-
might end ourselves,
Yeah.
which like they discovered those tubular things under the Egyptian pyramids that they think is
I
something.
knew something about that.
Yeah. So what they're surmising is that there was, obviously there was more civilized people than we are. That they had more knowledge than we do. And so somehow along the way they get wiped out. And over time, dirt buried everything. The pyramids are just the tip of that tower.
So the pyramids are actually the top of an obelisk.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would change everything
Yeah.
of what we know.
So, civilization has, from what they are thinking, civilization has ruined themselves. This would be the third time. And this would be the third planet that civilization has ruined themselves on and ruined the planet.
I would not be surprised.
But
I thought we were the second.
now they're saying this is the third. But it's really cool that it's really cool that they're seeing this. And used to we thought it was aliens that brought this knowledge. No, we may have been that civilized and had that much knowledge at one point and doing what we are doing now and fucked it all up and ruined everything that had to start over.
Maybe the aliens are our ancestors.
It
Maybe.
very well could be.
Well, that would explain then why there's always the belief that they have been around here much longer than us.
Many civilizations have been around much longer than us.
When you think about it, we're still technically in our infancy as a human society.
Yeah, we are. We are.
This round. But I think we were here, maybe not we, but we were here before and went to this end. However it happened, we ruined ourselves like we're doing now.
Yep. Isn't that the truth?
Maybe this kind of goes to show with not knowing of our past because you're doomed to repeat it. Maybe not knowing our past ancestry on other planets, and that's why this is happening.
Well, and even though we know our past here we are repeating it, and everybody's going along with it like la-di-da, okay, it's going to be different this time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's exactly what we're doing.
But we have no control over it. So
And that's
here
just
we
like
are,
it's, It's just another primary example to show, like with what we've been talking about, some of these issues, like for example, that's occurring throughout different parts of the country, is that it's one of these things where you just don't have any control over the situation. You're just along for the ride.
That's what we are. And you know what's really funny is, okay, so here we are. One of two things going to happen. We know we're going to die. How it happens, we don't know, but we know it's going to happen. So let's go for our next. We either go to heaven or we get reincarnated, whatever the belief is, whatever really happens, who knows? But that's where we're headed. And
It's not looking good.
no, but it's okay because this has happened in the past. We're headed wherever it is we're headed. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's just something we just got to accept.
It is. And enjoy every day while we're here. And then we'll enjoy every day wherever it is we go.
Exactly.
That's all we can do.
So with that, we need to end the show.
I'm just going to say we should talk about this for next week. I was hoping we'd talk about this tonight, but obviously it's going to have to wait till next week, as I'm surprised we didn't talk about that whole issue that's going on with the Villisca Axe Murder House. I don't know if you guys have heard
I
about
need more information before I actually discuss that.
Yeah, because that's too new. Right now, we only know one thing.
So I will just say this. So
Yeah,
just,
table it until next week because I'm sure more and more and more will come.
Yeah, we need both sides before.
from what I'll just tell you guys for now, well, not necessarily tell you guys, but tell you guys what to do, was because I asked on Facebook saying, because I was seeing so much, I was saying, anybody tell me what the hell is going on with the Villisca Axe Murder House? And I was
telling you the same thing.
Well, I was able to, what I received was some different pieces of information. Some of them led to links. So I would probably say, check it out, look it up yourselves. But I would also see what these guys had sent me, so that way it can give you guys a better understanding of what's going on with that house in Villisca, Iowa.
Yeah, I think a lot more will come out, and we'll get, there's every story. There's his side, her side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So, we need to look at that just a little bit more. And then, we can definitely have a discussion about that.
Yeah, check out the comments, like with what I was sent, and click on the links. That should be able to help you guys out.
Yeah, we'll get into it next week.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to try to talk to the person that took over.
Yeah, good luck with that, because obviously these guys sound like they're pretty ignorant, don't know half of what they're doing.
That's right, they're ignorant. So how would they know that I'm doing anything other than trying to get in?
I said this earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw what I wrote, but I basically simply said, with what I had seen, it's just more upsetting than the last update. And I just said, I just wish that
we could have laws in the
Well, you did see, that we could propose our own laws to protect such locations like this.
Unfortunately, laws are a thing of the past in this country.
Sadly, yes.
What or what not, but what we read on the news.
With what's been going on. So.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
All right, folks, we are going to go ahead and call it a night. And thank you for playing along with us. I don't know what else to say. Any final words?
Well, I got to say is we'll see you next time with your shaved head.
It'll be a lot longer next week.
It'll be longer.
Wait, I forgot one more question when you were with Eileen. I have to ask. Did she smack you in the ass?
No comment.
You better have smacked her ass for me.
What's that?
Not with her husband around.
He would know what it's for. I wouldn't give a shit if he was around.
Well, no, you may not, but he may.
Yeah.
All right, folks. You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend, and we will see you next week.
Good night, everyone.